Welcome to the Behind the Lens Show. I'm your man, JT, holding it down for my man, Bruce Nix, who is not here with us today. Bruce, we miss you, man. But hey, we're still going to have a great show. Get on back to us real soon, brother. Hey, just so you know, before we get started, we want you to follow us, like, share, subscribe to all of our social media. The email address is down below, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, and share it with all your family and friends. Tell them to come and join us right here on Behind the Lens and the 515 Real to Real podcast. I'm your man, JT, where today we have Ahmadou Seck, who is the Vice President of Scripted Television at Macro, a true culture shaper in today's entertainment landscape. From his work on Cobra Kai to Raising Dion and Government Cheese, Ahmadou has built a career on championing bold stories and opening doors for creators who deserve to be seen and heard. He's not just greenlighting projects, he's greenlighting change. This is Behind the Lens with Ahmadou Seck. Man, Ahmadou, we thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Can't complain. Another day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like I said, I know you are very busy. We're gonna jump right into it if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So let's start it out with this. So you said your journey from Seattle to Hollywood was rooted in values and community. How did your upbringing and Senegalese heritage shape the way you see storytelling?
Dope. Well, one, shout out to Seattle. A lot of times people are like, oh, there's black people in Seattle. And yes, we up there.
That's right.
By high school, Jimi Hendrix, Quincy Jones are some of the notable alumni. Bruce Lee, when he first came over here, he was doing kung fu sessions at my high school as well.
That's dope.
Although it's a small community, it's real tight knit. But as far as being raised in Seattle, definitely came from a family that was active in the community. I do come from a big family. My dad was married and had 5 basically children beforehand. Before he came over and met my mother, and I have my little brother and sister, and we're siblings. And just as far as myself, we're Senegalese. I got African-American, half Senegalese brothers and sisters, but we all consider ourselves brothers and sisters, and we're tight. And whether it was just growing up understanding, whether it's the autobiography of Malcolm X or Patrice Lumumba, it was always something going on, and we were there, whether it was the Kwanzaa celebrations and being active in the community, whether it was the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center. That's where sort of I got my start into the entertainment industry. They had a program that they did every summer where they would pay this $200 stipend to have kids be a part of a summer musical. And whether it was like The Wiz or Beauty and the Beast, I mean, for me in middle school, I was like $200. I could buy a whole bunch of back to school clothes and whatnot. Oh, yeah. But as far as being on the stage and seeing how the productions went, I got bit by the acting bug. I thought I wanted to become an actor. A lot of the family was like, "You're gonna be a starving actor. It's a struggle, brother." But as I got older and still connected from there and wanted to spread my wings and eventually go to Senegal for the first time and be with family, that was where I entered the classroom of the world and really saw the opportunity that I had at home compared to cousins who were just as smart, just as capable, but didn't really have the opportunity back in Senegal. So as far as taking my whole experience there and then finally going off to college, I ended up getting a degree in business management. But I was always determined to say, okay, I still want to work in the entertainment industry. I still want to storytell, and I just got to figure out how to make it work. So that's as far as the Seattle experience, being rooted in that, understanding all these different layers, as far as growing up in the Central District of Seattle to eventually saying, all right, I want to go and pursue this dream. That's what I'm rooted in.
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you just mentioned college. So back at St. Martin University, you were student body president twice, and you started the Black Student Union. How did those leadership roles prepare you for the entertainment industry?
Oh man, I mean, there's definitely an opportunity for leadership at St. Martin's. I mean, it was a small private liberal arts school. They gave me a lot of scholarship money, and as far as being there, in a space where you're definitely, one of a few, just as far as diverse kids on campus. Birds of a feather kind of flock together.
Yeah.
And just seeing my freshman class, there was a lot of us, and we were sort of the big push of diversity into the university. We decided to get active, and some of the same things that I was doing from being back home in Seattle, we just kind of clicked up and started the BSU, and I was able to be a part of that team my freshman year, and link up with upperclassmen and continue to do things and advocate for diverse programs there. I ended up becoming the ambassador of like multicultural uh, uh, events and things and clubs there, and there was a plethora of groups, whether it was the Polynesian group that was there or the Latino group or whatnot. But we just started to get active and really making the campus an environment where we could share our culture, but also come and really, talk about the experiences that we have. Uh, as far as being on the campus and seeing that there was an opportunity for leadership, I ended up running. As far as student body leadership, definitely developed my skills just as far as working with the team, but also hearing the plight of the students, good, bad, and different, you name it, and then continue to try to advocate for our experience there. And then I was reelected again, and that was definitely a blessing. I mean, whether it's me working in Hollywood or whatever setting you think, I could take those skill sets and I could still go in there and work with a team and an environment. And those are the things that are like sort of the hard skills that just set you up in life. But as far as like being in this small private school out in the boondocks, you then end up leaving that and becoming a little fish in a big pond. But I definitely attest my experience there and the opportunities and the leadership to sort of the grit and sort of staying power of myself in Hollywood.
I truly believe, man, that if you can um, go into leadership in any type of role, college or even a fraternity or whatever that you may be a part of, and you can do that and people can respect you and follow behind you without getting paid to do it, then
Yep,
once you get into the real world and you go into a leadership role, man, it should be easy peasy, piece of cake.
it should be. It should be most definitely.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. So if I would say to you, ora et labora, what does that mean to you? And how does that
Oh man.
guide your career and your choices you make?
Gotcha. Yeah, that was the school motto. Ora et
Yeah,
labora is work and pray.
that's right.
When it comes to going to a Catholic school, that was my first time at a private school, Catholic school. But as when it comes to the Benedictine monks, right, and
Yeah.
there's learning the difference between the Jesuits and the Benedictines. They consider themselves the workers, the worker bees. They get out in the field, in the trenches, and they do that. And as far as being able to work and put that time and energy into that, but also have faith not only in yourself but a higher power and go from there. Although I'm not Catholic myself, being a Muslim student on campus, being able to see the sort of the commonalities, but to understand that the work and the prayer is something we all put together, whether that's our own careers or just life in general. So yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So let's talk a little bit about you breaking into the industry. So can you take us back to those early days at CAA and Participant Media? What did you learn that still drives you the way you operate today?
What I learned is it's really in the lessons before getting there.
Yeah.
That is the experience, because I think m- every year there's a class of people who move down to Hollywood, whether it's from Wyoming to Brazil, right? It's like you have a lot of people who are out here to chase a dream and an experience. And for me, getting a business degree, and I'm thinking after a business degree, you're supposed to be getting some money. And my sister had a couch and said, "Come on down." I thought I was going to be at CAA, HBO, all these places immediately. And that wasn't the case. I didn't hear back from nobody, no phone calls. My resume was getting shut down. And really, I was trying to figure out, well, how can I find this job and find this opportunity? But all of the resumes out here said in order to work, you need industry experience. But in order to get industry experience, you have to work. So it's one of the first barrier entries to get into the industry. And for a lot of us, especially, coming from, uh, different, diverse social economic backgrounds, you can't really play when it comes to trying to pursue something and working for free.
Yeah.
But it's one of those experiences where everybody wants you to pay your dues and try to figure things out. And really by giving and volunteering at these different events and meeting people in different parts of the industry is how I got put on.
Okay.
And that took about 8 months, testing you psychologically, mentally, spiritually, financially, EBT. Wasn't shamed about it, but I was like, man, it is. I could see why people move back home their first year,
Yeah.
and a lot of people do. But by ended up meeting and showing my work ethic and whatnot, I met people that eventually was like, yo, you're doing all this hard work for this free event. How about, you come over here and you just be a part of this? And I met a few folks from CAA who are agents, and my resume eventually got over. And that's how I was able to get hired at CAA. And that's where the masterclass began about the entertainment industry, just as far as how the business worked. It's one of the biggest agencies in the world. Tom Cruise, Will Smith is there. And you're working with some of the best and brightest and hungriest from across the country who are trying to figure this out. And you ended up really creating a camaraderie around the other assistants, just as far as the experience. And you're seeing people and you're learning discretion and you're learning how the work is. But the entertainment industry, for the majority of us, it's an apprenticeship type of industry. You're learning the skill set of your boss to eventually them saying, all right, you got the juice now. And then as far as my experience at CAA, although I thought I wanted to be an agent, the longer I was there, the more I knew I didn't want to be one. I wanted to do something that was more creative. But I worked in the TV talent department, and TV talent and TV just in general in 2013 was starting to pop off. 2014, 15 with Netflix and streaming. And I wanted to do something that was a little bit more creative. So I ended up going from the agency side to the buyer side as far as Pivot, which was a network where we were able to schedule and develop and shows. And I was able to start to really develop my muscle on storytelling, whether that was scripted or unscripted, at that space and place for about 2 years. But all of the people at Participant really wanted to change the world with their content, and their film Spotlight won Best Film when I was there. And just to be at a company where it won Best Film, I was like, oh, the dream is real. But it's like you're in the trenches trying to figure that out. And that was sort of a 5-year process, just as far as me starting off at CA to eventually get to Participant.
That's good. That's good. Now, from there, you went over to Overbrook Entertainment, and they gave you Cobra Kai, a massive streaming hit. So, what did that experience teach you about spotlighting projects with breakout potential?
Yeah. I mean, as far as my opportunity at Overbrook, they wanted to do more projects outside of Will and Jada, and they had things bubbling, and Cobra Kai was one of them.
Yeah.
So, just as far as the story behind that project, it was the showrunners who had the idea and conception, and they're the ones who got Billy Zabka and eventually Ralph Macchio to say yes, and they're true fans of the world, the genre, like through and through. They were fans of it. And eventually, just as far as Overbrook, they also produced the Karate Kid version with Jaden.
Yeah.
So it was sort of that matchmaking between Sony and Overbrook and the showrunners to put the project out there. And since I had 5 years of TV experience, I was able to join the team where that was my first TV show, and that was on YouTube Red. And as far as that being a platform where we were developing the show, we were shooting it in Atlanta. I know a lot of us wanted to do it out here in California, but as far as the tax credits and the opportunities there were majority in the dojo, in the school, we went down there, were able to do it and do pickup shops out here in Los Angeles. But there was a lot of excitement, but also a lot of fear. And I say that to say, as you're coming towards the end of Star Wars and you're seeing the fans crucify some of the movies because they're like, it didn't go how I thought it was going to go. When our show was announced, it was, people were basically like, y'all better not mess this up.
Yeah.
And for us to kind of really put, heart and soul into it and it take off on YouTube. It got 16 million views the first week, and by all means was a hit on the platform. It wasn't until it hit Netflix though 3 years later that I ain't never got more LinkedIn requests, reach outs in my life, just as far as seeing my names in the credits. And it's a
Yeah.
very specific West African Senegalese name. But the thing is I even had friends who were like, we knew you said it was a good show, Ahmadou, but we thought you meant it was an internet good show. We didn't know it was a TV show
Yeah.
that was like a TV show. And I think it's just really a testament to like really staying true to the characters, subvert the expectations, heart of a story, and it went on for another 5-6 seasons over there at Netflix. So kudos to them. But just as
Yeah.
far as being able to see something take off and really believing in it, not knowing how the audience will react, I mean, an experience I will treasure for forever.
That's what's up, man. Now, you said something about the tax credits over there in Georgia. Hey, come here to Alabama. I'm telling you, we got some great incentives for you. You'll save a lot of money.
Listen, look, I'm trying. I got a homegirl from Mobile, and they've
Okay.
been talking about just the beaches and all that down there, and then
Yeah.
the Mardi Gras. And I was
Yes.
like, I didn't know Mobile's Mardi Gras was a thing.
Man,
So
hey,
I gotta
Mardi
get
Gras
down there.
started in Mobile. A lot of
Listen,
people may
she
think it started in Louisiana and New Orleans, but it actually started in Mobile, Alabama.
listen, she hit me to that too, and I was like,
Yeah,
all right, when you go, we all gonna go. So
that's right.
yeah,
Now, hey, I'm gonna tell you one thing about Mardi Gras down there. Now, they don't just throw beads and stuff like that. They throw cupcakes and they throw boxes of cereal and everything. So be ready to duck because they throw
really,
everything at
cereal,
you.
cinnamon toast crunch,
They
Lucky
man,
Charm.
hey, cinnamon toast crunch, Captain Crunch, whatever you like, they got it, and they're
Got it.
gonna throw it at you. They're gonna throw it at you.
Copy. I'll bring my milk. I'll be ready.
Okay, okay. So let's keep it going. So, what
hmm
was the biggest? I mean, the biggest thing that the biggest moment that confirmed it for you that you belong in this industry. That moment that was okay. Yeah, this is it.
Mm, a moment that this was it. It was a few. It was a few. And I would say that it's always been more so an ongoing journey, right? Because the thing is you in it, and then I think what's real is that when you're in it, you don't know if what you're doing is important enough or are you important enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is where it comes to sort of the worth and work, where the imposter syndrome is real as far as what you're doing in spaces and places, and people are either moving up faster than you and you're like, man, what am I doing? Am I doing it right or not? I will say for myself, coming down and working at CAA, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm here. I'm seeing the biggest stars. I was like, I made it. And then to understand that the real grind boot camp began there,
Yeah.
it was then the readjustment of like, oh, well, this ain't really the mountaintop. I just got to this summit. I'm about to go to this other place. Working with a client, and she got booked for a lead role of a TV show from Dusk Till Dawn. And this is Isa Gonzalez, who has gone on to be all over the place. But as far as working with her when she first was starting off, she eventually landed on a billboard for the show's release on the El Rey network. And that was somebody who, I was talking to all the time, helping just get into the auditions and to see the billboards of that person's project. I thought it was that moment. And I think another moment it's the continuation. Never in a million years will I think I'll be working for Will Smith. I mean, one of the biggest stars in the world that I've seen all the movies and whatnot, and to meet him in person and hear him make jokes and cuss and whatnot, I'm like, oh, he cuss what? But the thing is that he's definitely one of those people where he's so charismatic that everybody feels like they're the most important person in the room. And just to see that personality is like, oh, I get why these folks are superstars. And I'm like, I thought that was that moment there. So I would say it's just a continuation of moments. And even to this point, as far as the producing TV shows and being around, folks, it's one of those moments where like definitely blessed and see the opportunities, but it's still in my mind. If I do this thing, it'll be that. And I think it's always just going to be continually the climbing the summit to this one point and going up to another.
Man, I can speak for myself and Bruce, since he's not here with us today. But I've had those moments where I thought, okay, this is it. This is now is about to happen. I've made it. And then, like you said, that's when the real work starts. And then you say, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was there. It was real close. I'm excited for what's going on right now. I'm meeting new people. I'm enjoying what's going on. But there's another spot that you got to get to, another plateau you have to reach, and then you just have to work harder and harder and harder. One of the things that I've
Yeah.
learned from working in this industry and meeting people who are in Hollywood who have given us the time of day to even talk to us, it's been amazing. But the one thing that I've learned is that they always tell me, Johnny, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and it's going to happen when it's going to happen,
Absolutely.
but yeah, man, that's what's up. You're at Macro. You're the vice president of scripted television at Macro. So Macro is a powerhouse for Black and diverse storytelling. What does it mean to you to personally hold the power to greenlight stories at that level?
Oh man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I mean, one of the best companies I've worked at in my career, and I will say, just before going into that, I think it's definitely all kudos and praise to Charles King, just as far as him,
Oh
as
yeah,
well as Stacey Walker King, his
yes,
wife, who started the company. I mean, two of the nicest, most down to earth, humble people in the industry. I mean, he's worked with the Titans when it comes to Jay-Z, Oprah, Tyler, Denzel, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, who is his only client to this day. And just to see, all these people who have impacted and shaped not only pop culture in the world, to be there and to kind of learn and work with, and also to say that we have a relationship is dope, and he really is about us as a group of people becoming not only more economically uh, powerful, but also creatively when it comes to the spaces and places for us to tell the stories, how making sure that they're true to the visions that we have and continuing to get these stories out there into the world. So just wanted to start that up. And it's definitely an experience I don't take lightly. I definitely think just as far as us understanding not only the culture, but sort of having a superpower, 1 degree of separation from the diverse filmmaking community, you name it, somebody has worked with or has been in the building. Definitely, use that to our advantage of amplifying diverse creatives in front of and behind the camera while shaping and uplifting culture.
yeah, man.
That is the name of the game. We try to create and develop projects that are diverse, that have diverse people telling these stories. And it's, whether it's in a moment in a system where, or a moment in a time when Hollywood is open to it and receptive and saying, hey, we too, or they're not. And understanding that we are an underserved market, but a majority when it comes to global audience and demographics, still championing those stories and getting those made. I will say it is fulfilling. It's not easy. There's
Yeah.
always something that you got to fight for and something that you have to do. But right now I'm hitting my 6 year anniversary, and it's just as far as the filmmakers, the people that I've been able to work with, it's been an honor to be in the trenches with them and really try to make amazing dope art and make some money at the same time.
And y'all definitely make some great content over there at Macro, man. I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite companies out there. To whenever I see Macro's name on something when it comes to film or television, I'm right there front and center, ready to watch it. So big shout out to Charles and Stacey King for everything that you all are doing for the culture and for the industry. Let me ask you this: so what's your process for evaluating a project, and how does that go?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nuanced, multi-layered. I think for me, I'm definitely genre agnostic as well, as that's how we look at projects, just as far as the team. So uh, we can look at all types of projects, right? It doesn't have to kind of be only one thing. I will say macro. Uh, I think historically has been known as a company that has done a lot of biopics, sort of the fences, the Mudbounds, and I would say a lot of stories of like, sort of this black person who's rising in spite of all these other obstacles and whatnot. And we will continue to do that as well. But I know that we um, are telling a wide range of stories, whether that things that are a little bit more prestige or commercial or whatnot, but we'll still make sure that it's elevated and something that, definitely hits on all cylinders. So for me, in my position when I'm looking at projects that coming in, one, I tune into the fan in me, right? When it comes to the creative and just seeing the story, am I leaning in? Am I engaged? And I'm like, oh man, I would love to watch this on TV. I think, at the end of the day, when it comes to the industry overall, it is subjective.
Yeah.
Taste is something that is, you develop and you have, but as far as different types of projects, it's super subjective. And I do think you have to honor that part of yourself
Mm-hmm.
that is a fan. First and foremost. Then I think about sort of the marketplace as well and what people are looking for and what's sort of in zeitgeist or what's coming around the corner, just as far as the types of projects that you're able to take up. Not everything is going to be an easy slam dunk, just as far as projects. But the thing is that there's definitely projects that the marketplace is more in need of than not at certain times. I also look at the creator and really wanting to understand why and the passion behind them telling this story. There's certain people who know and want to tell a story like the back of their hand, and whether it's the characters, the world, what's going to happen next or whatnot, it's just something that just rolls off the top of their tongue. And to hear sort of that passion and energy, yes, the story is good, but it's the writer that's going to be the one to get it across the finish line. And you're betting not only on the project, but really the writer and developing that relationship or partnership to kind of go from there. And then lastly is the attachments that are part of the project, whether there's other directors or filmmakers there. But it's my job to, meet amazing writers, artists, directors, actors, you name it, hear their projects and say, hey, let's work on this partner together and build this package to eventually trying to sell it to like a HBO, a Netflix, a Apple, you name it. So
Yeah.
those are the things that I check out for.
That's what's up, man. So let's look at Raising Dion, government cheese, and then we can't wait for it. A scent of burnt flowers. All feel very unique. What drew you to these projects?
Gotcha. Well, starting off with Raising Dion, I inherited that. I came when season one was already in the can, so I got
Okay.
to work on season two. And I'm just a fan of that show just in
Oh
general.
yes.
I mean, a story about a black woman trying to protect her son who is gifted from the world. When we've seen all these different shootings or just things of that nature when it comes to black youth, black men, just in general, it's one of the things that, although is in a superhero genre element, it's something that we could all resonate with
Oh yeah.
because I feel like a lot of parents and communities are trying to do that with their children nowadays, and um, for us to play in this space where there's not a lot of black superhero stories or family, and to be able to give it that nuance, definitely was the thing that stood out for that. And I will say for Raising Dion, those are one of those shows, whether it was in Atlanta, in New York, or people in Barbados or Lagos, Nigeria, like folks tuned in across the world
Oh yeah.
for that show, and their kids and families watched it together. So definitely happy that there was some communal viewing for that.
Oh yeah. We
Um,
sat down as a family
something
at my house and we watched that
Yeah,
show.
there.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
For Government Cheese, that just came out on April. It's all episodes are streaming on Apple TV. That was one a very unique sort of love letter to Paul Hunter's family and working with Paul Hunter, Aisha Carr,
Mm-hmm.
the showrunner, David Oyelowo. Paul is one of the most prolific hip hop music video directors of our day.
Yes.
From Mariah Carey's "Honey" to D'Angelo's "How Does It Feel" to Diddy, Dr. Dre, Pharrell, he's done all of their music videos and never really got uh, long headway just to work in film or TV.
Mm-hmm.
And he started a directors collective and has put a lot of people on. But for him, of his story to tell about a character that was inspired by his father, who was in and out of prison, he bet on himself with David, and they shot that as a short film.
Wow.
And for us to see that and say, hey, there's a TV show, roll up our sleeves, and then go out and pitch it, Apple bought that in a room.
Wow.
And it took us 4 years to get that made with the strikes and other things, Bass Reeves, and the pandemic. But to get that out there, and Paul was in his bag directing. Aisha wrote a hell of a show as far as a Black family that we don't really get to see, sort of in this Coen, Wes Anderson type of world and space.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely avant-garde, and to do something that kind of pushes the envelope in a certain area that we don't really get to play in. I definitely, I feel honored to be a part of it, to get this up and going. And we were able to do that with Apple. And then lastly, with Scented Flowers, that's a project where, and I have my little one over there. If
Yeah,
you
no
hear
problem. Yeah.
hear her making noise, all good. Scented Flowers is a project that we have over at FX, and that's with Blitz Bazwule, who is the creator of the book, the author, director of it, and then Yahya Abdul Mateen II. And tonally, that's Lovecraft Country meets the Americans, set in 1960s Ghana. So to have this, on the run thriller of this African American couple trying to seek asylum, running away from the FBI, will they make it to Kwame Nkrumah in time before a coup d'état takes place? Is something that we're really interested in getting up and going. And right now we're just trying to get that greenlit. So that's where the work is, in addition to other stuff.
Yeah, man, we can't wait to see that because the book is amazing. So we can't wait to see that show. Yeah. So
Thank you. It's
yeah,
really good.
So let me ask you this. So how do you balance taking creative risk with making sure projects still have commercial appeal?
Yeah, it's hedging your bet. It's knowing that there's an audience there for it, that it's going to resonate with it, just as far as the storytelling, the type of project, and then being convicted enough to say, hey, it might take me 6 months, it might take me 4 years to get this made. But as far as being committed to putting the pieces together, the passion, the enthusiasm for that project is kind of what sustains, because it goes up and down just as far as the yes, the no's, the hurry ups and the waits. And I will say I've had situations where I've hit home runs, and I've had situations where I've struck out, and I'm like, they tripping. This is a hit. But the thing is I think, even some of the people at the biggest companies out here in the world, somebody passed on the Titanic.
That's
right?
right.
It's just the name of the game. But for me, it's definitely understanding basic certain elements in tennis when it comes to storytelling. Like, okay, people can definitely tune into the soapy family nature of this, or the action adventure wish fulfillment of this. And just I feel like TV, every couple of years, the mandates and all those things change out here in Hollywood of what they're looking for. But the thing that definitely stays true is that if you got something that's compelling, that is uh undeniable, not only to yourself, but you're able to communicate that and show that to other folks as well, it's always gonna hit through regardless.
Yeah. Now, you're known as a champion for creators. Why is mentorship and teaching other executives so important to you?
um Because well, what if not us? Who?
That's right.
Right? Especially just as far as this next uh, generation of execs. There's a lot of smart peers that I have. There's a lot of smart senior execs. There's a lot of smart junior assistant interns. I will say, overall, and this is me, and it can be a little provocative, but it is what it is. Hollywood, although it is a place where a lot of dreams are made and dreams do come true when it comes to storytelling, and a lot of great people live out here, and a lot of creatives come to connect, the industry overall is exploitive. And I say that to say, any industry that you have where people are hedging their bet on some future work or whatnot, people take advantage of people working for free and doing things till eventually you get there. So you hear a lot of stories of people like, I'm just trying out here, I'm following a dream and I can't find a job, but I'm doing this. And some people get sold wolf tickets, right? Whether it's like, oh, I want to be an actor, and this producer's like, I'll make you a big star if you date me, right? That's people being exploited in that situation. That's not all situations, but whether that or the music industry or whatnot, you start to see that. And you do see a lot of people who get burnt out. But also, what you start to see is that certain people, not everybody, but it's a small group, when they do get in positions, right, where they were either, it took them a long time to get in and they had to work and fight to get to this point, they feel like the next group needs to do that as well,
Yeah.
because that's what I went through, so that's what you need to go through. Or my boss yelled at me, or my boss did this and made me do all that, and that just, gave me thick skin. But technically, you don't need to pass all that toxic whatever down to the next group. Now, adversity and challenges is important, and everybody should be able to work through that as well. But I do think being able to show and give the lessons and the gems of like, hey, I went through this, and hopefully you can learn from these mistakes, so it doesn't happen to you, is key and is important. Whether that's me sitting in the executive seat or me just sharing my experience and my journey going into Hollywood. Because I will say, for two things, lastly, some people walk into their greatness. Some people trip, stumble, scrape
Yeah.
their knee, get back up, limp into it, right? And I do think when it comes to this being a marathon, it's a lot of that.
Yes.
And the thing is that you have to really have people understand that it's okay. You don't have to start off this way, but eventually, the herd gets thinner and you get stronger, or you get a little bit more stamina going into it. And for anybody, if they don't have to take 8 months to find their first job like I did, more power to them, based off of my experience and me giving, like, here's how strategically, intentionally you're able to get these opportunities and these jobs.
That's what's up, man. Because I know, for me, I started in entertainment altogether, 2005, 2005. But
Mm-hmm.
always from a little kid, I knew that this is something that I wanted to do with my life. At first I thought it was be football at one time, but I always knew entertainment, some type of form of entertainment, was going to be part of my life. And 2005, I just stepped out there and I started doing some things, and I met a few people. And one of my great friends, who was actually working for Ricky Smiley at the time, took me under his wing and was like, "Hey, come on over here, work with us." I traveled with them. I did sales, and I always knew that it was going to be something, but I had those ups and I had those downs, and at times I thought that should I continue in this? But I knew in my heart of hearts that I this is where I'm supposed to be, and regardless to how
Mm-hmm.
many times I fall and stumble, I knew I had to get back up and I had to get back into it. So I'm one of those ones that greatness is not just thrust upon me. I had to fight my way and still fighting my way, because there's so much that I want to do in this industry. And with my producing partner Bruce, there's so much that we want to do. So we just have to keep fighting and fighting and fighting until we get there to that point. And one thing that we've learned along the way is, yeah, don't beat up the next person that's trying to come up behind you. Teach them the things that you've learned. Show them from let them learn from your mistakes. Yeah, you got to let them get, like you said, some cuts, some bruises, and things like that, because that builds character. But someone helped me. Somebody said, "Come on, Johnny, let's go. I'm gonna show you how to do this," and we've done that tons and tons of times, and still will continue to do that to no matter what level we reach. I always believe that
Mm-hmm.
reach one, teach one, each one, teach one, however you want to say it. I just believe in being able to be that for someone else.
There you go. Amen. We need more of it. It does, become cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well. So,
And before I go to my next question, man, I everybody, I know there's a lot of people that watch this podcast, and if they're not following you on Instagram, they will be after today. But let's talk a little bit about what you do on Instagram. I mean, because those clips you put out, those nuggets you drop, I mean, man, that is straight gold. That is straight gold, and it's amazing to see what you're doing and how you're communicating and interacting with everyone and just giving us those gems. So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate your words, and I mean, I'm truly, honored, humbled, just as far as the outreach and the support that I've been getting from peers, from senior execs that I admire, folks I don't know, creatives. It's just I didn't know it would be as impactful as it was, and really, I mean, it started just with all of the uncertainty and shifting nature of the industry just in general. I mean, I will say I've always been an optimist, but it's always been a part of my spirit and really, I believe my purpose in life when it comes to instilling hope in as many people as possible as I can. And through the medium of film and TV, I could do that globally. And really, when the going gets tough, is when I get the most vocal. And when it comes to the industry right now and the going get tough, I mean, it is crazy. Things are upside down, and there's just a lot of fear, whether it's sort of the AI stuff that's happening or the contraction of the industry, you name it. So it really started off as me just um, basically pulling the curtain back a bit and just sharing some of the things that I'm just seeing on the
Mm-hmm.
front lines of the industry. And what was eye opening to me is that, especially being out here in LA and Hollywood and in this community, a lot of the stuff that I was saying is things that we know in the industry that we talk about, and it's just rules of how we move and how we develop and put projects and just do things out there. Not the majority of it, right? There's definitely sort of my POV in that, but a lot of just sort of the moves to make and the ways to go about pitching projects or things that I'm just sharing. But then I realized that a lot of people don't talk about this. And the thing is although we're in sort of this small bubble of Hollywood, the majority of folks aren't, and they don't know that. And
Yeah.
for more people to be empowered by this information of how to do it, whether that's in their own neck of the woods or trying to come out here or whatnot, you realize that, oh, this information needs to be shared and needs to be told, and not everybody has it. And as I've been continuing to, basically amplify these stories of creators not only believing in themselves, but making these stories and getting these stories out there, that's sort of what the Legendary Lens series has come to be. So originally it was just me sharing these words of wisdom. And as far as Legendary Lens, I will say there was an exec who reminded me, and she was like, technically what you're doing, you're in a full circle moment, because by giving is how you got into the industry,
Yeah.
and what you're doing right now is you're giving, so you're really aligned in your purpose right now. And I was kind of like, oh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
that's deep,
is.
sister. That's deep. So,
Yeah.
as far as continuing to share nuggets and whatnot, that's what I'm doing. And I will say, and it's something I'm starting next week. But we're in harvest season, and I truly believe, just as far as in things, seasons change, they come and go. But right now, it's really about summer was laying the seeds and the foundations of what I was in and what I was doing, and right now it's about reaping
That's
sort of the
right.
rewards that come with it. So as
That's right.
far as whether that's spiritually or just psychologically, books I'm reading, or even trying to work on this father figure I got right now with a little toddler and getting a little bit more into shape. It's as far as this next chapter, Legendary Lens, it's going to really focus on harvest season and how not only we could do that creatively from projects and whatnot, but also personally to sharpen the sword.
That's what's up, man. Because yeah, man, Legendary Lens has actually been an inspiration to me. Uh, every time you put something out there, I'm sharing it to somebody, or I'm quoting something that you share. My producer just waved his hand and said, "Yeah, you send it to me." So I'm always sending stuff out. Every time you post something, man, I make sure that every time you put something out there, it hits my phone and I get to see it. And so, I mean, it's very inspiring, man. It's very inspiring.
Oh man, thank you, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
brother.
I appreciate you doing this behind the lens,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Just as far as being able to share this and amplify that, and us just get together to talk about the industry. But you never know who's watching, and this is definitely hitting people and who are watching and getting the gems, and and tracking it from there. So I
Definitely.
appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna keep this thing going. So let me ask you this. So how do you think the current content war era is changing the way stories get told and who gets to tell them?
Mm. Well, I guess the hot take, the streaming wars is over,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Now everybody is still going to make dope content, and the platforms are still releasing stuff. And definitely, Apple came out with a lot of hits this year that people are talking about, and probably about to win a lot of Emmys and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I do think the streaming wars, as it was, uh, as it pertains to who has the most people watching, who's gonna get sort of the um, market dominance, that is done.
Mm.
Netflix won. There's definitely sort of Disney sort of in second and all these other places, but I think as far as that arms race, what we found out over the last probably 10 years, 10 plus years, is that people check it out and they watch the shows, but eventually, uh, if a show is done, people are canceling the subscription and hopping over to somewhere else and then canceling and hopping back. So it was hard for people to really get leeway on it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the main event that is about to start is Netflix versus YouTube. In my
Yes.
uh, 30 seconds into the future opinion, I do know when it comes to market share, YouTube is global, it's free, and a lot of people are watching it. Although they don't have an originals department anymore, there's a lot of people who are checking stuff out and watching it in ways that is, I think, cost effective, but still has a lot of eyeballs. But I also think we have been groomed since the pandemic, and now with all these smart TVs, people are watching Netflix on their app on the TV, but just as easy you could turn on YouTube and put on Miss Rachel,
That's right.
right? So it's like they're all technically there, and it's really, I think, a conversation of people are now just making really great content, but now when it comes to getting people's attention on said content and getting the eyeballs in the conversation, is now that and connected to it, just as far as the strategy.
That's what's up. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. So check this out. Without giving away anything that can't be shared, can you tease any upcoming macro projects that you can share with us?
Um, I can't get too much into specifics, but I can get you into sort of areas that we're playing in, right?
Okay.
And I'll say that to say, and it's a shift in a trend just as far as the industry overall. But I spoke to earlier how macro had been known for a lot of prestige pieces and whatnot. There is a shift to be more commercial,
Okay.
right? So as far as the commercial, the spirit behind that is for it to have more eyeballs watching said show or feature, but also things that are just you can make more money off of.
Yeah.
So one of them days that Macro produced alongside Issa Rae, Hooray, and Sony Pictures sort of is a step in that direction. They cloned Tyrone, also a step in that direction,
Yeah.
where that's a elevated genre piece, but done in a way where it's popcorn and you can watch and everybody can laugh and get the jokes from there.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
also say Freaky Tales that came out
Definitely.
um, is also something that it's definitely, it wasn't as wide of a release, but it's something that you watch that's like popcorn fare. Hey, this is fun, entertaining. Is stuff that we're doing. So when you think of that, whether it's action, genre, comedy, things that are soapy, workplace dramas, you name it, we're psychological thrillers playing a lot more in that space
Okay.
and still doing things that are elevated, still doing things that are prestige, but it's also sort of like, what is our take? What is our POV on that?
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. So hey, everybody that's out there, you heard what he said. You heard what spaces they're looking into, things that they have on their mind. So I don't know how you're gonna get in contact with them. Use your attorneys, your representatives, or whatever. Make sure you get your stuff together and make sure that it's 100.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what was the most unexpected challenge that you faced on a project that you thought would be smooth sailing?
Unexpected challenge. Um, there was two things. One, there was a project that I knew was a Comic Con Hall H front and center debut fans going nuts type of project.
Okay.
Definitely centered sort of in the world as a love letter to like these anime projects, but it's live action. There's kung fu. There's monsters. It's a whole nine, right? There's a universe in space where they're seeing all the data of us watching anime and just being in space, but there's not a lot of representation. And when it comes to a lot of the projects, sort of like a Scott Pilgrim Must Die or whatnot, you hardly see us. And seeing something that there was creatives who were fans of it, had a dope writing team that had a super fresh perspective on it. It was in LA, had a showrunner, director, whatnot. We shot a sizzle, and when we went out to market, the majority of the networks said, "Nah, this ain't for us." And blown away, stunned. What do you mean this ain't for us? This is a hit. There are people who watched this yesterday, and starting to hear some of the thoughts about it. I call it excuses, but it was their thoughts of what they were looking for at this time, because they were younger adults just as far as characters. End of high school, early college, people thought that that was too niche and that it was basically a YA type of project, and they weren't really checking for YA projects like that. And although they said that, then you have Stranger Things, which is also a group of kids who are even younger in
Yeah.
this genre, but they look at that as an outlier, right? And I'm saying that this is something that you have kids that are older that's not. But the thing is if people haven't seen something and they don't get it and they understand, everybody said it was cool, everybody said it was dope. But the thing is from a storytelling standpoint, it wasn't enough to get them behind it, right? So as far as um more having to be there, whether it was like, oh well, maybe I should have got a big star attached to be in this in the lead role, and maybe that could have got it over the hump, or maybe we should have did more to kind of put it out in the marketplace for people to watch it, to R&D it. All those could have been spaces and opportunities to do so. But again, I just knowing that project was near and dear and just dope. It's one of those things where it's like we took the swing, nothing came from it, but I still believe in the project, in the team, and that if you're like, hey, try to get this set up again, I would do it in a heartbeat. So that was one of the things. Um, yeah, that really threw me for a loop, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I understand. So let me ask you this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, how has your definition of success evolved from when you started in this business to now?
Mm. Definition of success. Definition of success. I think it's definitely evolved. It's changed. I think for me at first it was just being in the space and the place, right? And I made a post on Legendary Lens about this, but I read The Alchemist when I was younger, and I felt like my whole journey, just as far as eventually getting to the quote unquote quote pyramids, which is the main goal of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was me getting out the hood and going to college and eventually coming down to LA. Bam,
Yeah.
pyramids. But it was really me starting the journey of said story. So as far as that changing sort of my dynamic perspective of success, I think that was sort of the first shocking moment of it. I will say, as far as success now, it's being able to tell and produce stories with amazing creators that I not only believe in, but are great partners to get that out to the world,
Yeah.
right? I think as far as there's a lot of people who are trying to do the work and are chasing the work, right? Just as far as trying to put it together. It's it's the art and practice of packaging, but it's not necessarily producing and doing stuff. And for me to be able to not only get these stories out there, uh, that's definitely a North Star for people to receive it. It's no longer mine. It's no longer the creative teams. It's the world. But to be able to do that at a high level with people out here in Los Angeles or globally, and to be able to make a living off of it is the dream. And we all can do it at different levels and spaces and places. But for me, it's to try to do things at a high level and it affect the world. So that's always a North Star. I want the world to watch it. I want the world to talk about it, and I will continue to do that with my creative partners and colleagues and peers in the industry to champion those stories and get those stories made.
What's up, man? That's great. What is a piece of advice that has carried you through tough moments, and who gave it to you?
Everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut. Eric Thomas.
Say it one more time. One more time. Say it one more time.
Everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut.
Okay, hold on.
Eric Thomas.
I'm gonna lean in a little bit. Say that. Please say it
Come
one
on,
more time.
I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut.
Man.
Nobody wants to get cut. Eric Thomas, the guru, I've been a fan of since I've been in college, from his speech about the guru to his books or whatnot. But, talk about somebody who is motivational, who gets you up and gets you going, whether it's athletes or whatnot. He has a lot of sayings, and just I kind of go back to that when it comes to the experience, just because a lot of times people think things are perfect and things just need to be great and done in a certain type of way. And really, you kind of learn from your mistakes, but it's about how you get back up and how you keep going. And, he has a thing where it's like, if you do something and it ain't right or it goes left, thank you for the cut.
Yeah.
Keep going. Thank you for the cut. Keep going. And you just getting sharper. You just getting more clarity, color cut clarity when it comes to becoming a diamond and, shining and also, being resilient as well. So I say that a lot when it comes to the trials and tribulations of the industry, but just life in general.
Yeah, man. That's dope. That's some dope stuff there. Now, hey, I have one question left for you. I've enjoyed our time here together, man. And look, you're welcome to come back and kick it with us anytime you want to. But I have one more question for you. And it's kind of deep. I want you to look forward into your life. And when you look back at your career decades from now, what do you want to say that you've contributed to the culture?
When it comes back to my legacy and the stuff that I worked on, I hope people can think that I've instilled hope in them. And I say that hope not only when it comes to an individual who thinks they're able to either pursue a dream or better their life experience by believing in themselves or believing that they can get there and continue to go from there, or instilling hope in a people. I do think it's one of the most powerful things, you can have, whatever the circumstances and situations. And, for me, as somebody who grew up, didn't have money, food banks and whatnot, there was always a belief in self that, hey, I feel like I'm destined to greatness. I could do something. It's a bit of naivety, but it's also a bit of hope of like, hey, if I just keep doing this, I'll be able to eventually, make my dreams come true, and to be out here living the dream is definitely the experience. But now to be able to pour that into as many people as possible is the mission. So hopefully, when it comes to hope and instilling that in not only individuals but in a group of people to move further, that's the mission, that's the goal, and that's hopefully what I'm able to leave.
That's what's up, brother Ahmadou. Man, we appreciate you. We salute you. We support you. We're right there with you. Man, we thank you so much for joining us here today on Behind the Lens, man. And on behalf of myself and my partner, Bruce L. Nix Jr., man, it's been a pleasure. It's truly been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
So,
appreciate it.
Everybody, the man, Ahmadou Seck,